It really is a milestone that I've achieved here tonight, and I've worn my fancy shirt to market. Next week I actually have another milestone. I will have been with the club for 2 years next week. And I know it sounds weird to say, but I can't believe it's only been 2 years. And it's not because the time has dragged on. It's because I have changed so much in 2 years. I can't believe it's just that amount of time. And I was wondering, what is it that really changed me? And the thing that kept coming back to me is the people. The people in this club who have been my inspiration and who have said the right thing at the right time, and the people I've just watched and learned from. I wish a lot of those people are no longer with the club, and I wish they could be here tonight to share this milestone with me. But we're kind of a victim of our own success here in this club. As we realize our potential, new opportunities open up to us in the world, and some of us move on. And it hurts a little bit every time one of those people that you really admire leaves. And when you see, like in the last 2 years, many of those people have left. They've just gone on to other things. You're happy for them, but you worry. You worry about the club. How can we maintain this great club if all of our best people keep leaving? Well, we do that by continuing to foster the growth of every person that comes into this room. We do that by continuing to work on ourselves and help other people work on themselves. Now, you have to forgive the older members who are worried that the club is not what it used to be, because not that long ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, this club almost didn't exist. There was a time when the attendance was low and people weren't coming in, the membership was low, and the morale was low. There was even talk about shutting the door on WCB Toastmasters. What a loss that would be. That was until a woman named Claudia came along. Claudia, never met her, but she was an inspiration. She became president and everything changed. She spearheaded membership drives. She created a presence on the internet so people could find us. And in just 1 year, she almost single-handedly turned this club around and made the club a success. One motivated individual changed this club. It saved this club. Imagine what a room of motivated individuals could do. So I really encourage you to think about what your legacy is going to be. I've never met Claudia, but when I joined 2 years ago, I felt her impact. I knew that she had been there from the people who talked about her and from how much more these people were giving. They were giving so much more than they were asked for. But that's sometimes hard. It's sometimes scary to take that step, to be a leader, to do your next speech, or to take on a big role. Well, I feel like I'm a bit of an expert when it comes to fear. In fact, a little over 2 years ago, I was seeing a psychiatrist who was helping me with social anxiety disorder, and it was her idea for me to join Toastmasters. And quickly, Mondays started to become the worst day of the week. It was horrible. I dreaded coming here every time. I had fun when I came here, but there was always that anxiety and that tension, and I just dreaded it. And every week I would go to my psychiatrist and she would say, "Did you go to Toastmasters?" And I'd say, "Yes." "Did you do table topics?" "No." "Why don't you do table topics?" And I'd say, "Well, I sit at the back of the room, and that envelope is coming down the table, and it turns into a train, and I'm tied on the tracks, and by the time it gets to me, the only thing I could do is just pass it along." But she insisted, she kept insisting that I do table topics. So one day, I came in and I sat in the very first seat so that I wouldn't have time to freak out, and that's exactly what happened. Somebody handed me that envelope, I pulled the thing out, I got up, and I talked. And man, was I shocked. When I sat down, I just thought, what was the big deal? It was nothing. And then I ended up tying for first place with a university professor. Oh my God, I just cannot wait to go back to see my psychiatrist. "Did you go to Toastmasters?" "Yes." "Did you do table topics?" "Yes." And not only did I do table topics, I won. It was a moment for me. It was like one of those moments in your life when you know something has changed inside of you. My psychiatrist just very calmly said, Steve, I'm so happy that you had this moment, but you have to keep going. But that was no problem at that point. However, the next week when I went back to my psychiatrist, I had a bit of a different story to tell. Did you go to Toastmasters? Yes. Did you do table topics? Yes. And? Well, I sat at the end of the table again, and the envelope turned into a train again. But I forced myself to get up, and I did it. But I stumbled over my words, and I only lasted about 15 seconds, and, well, I just generally sucked. And she said, well, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, well, you know, I see people who have been there for years, and sometimes they get up and they suck, so you can't win them all. She almost jumped out of her chair. Steve, that is the best option. That is the best result that we could have had for you. That is pure growth right there. You failed in public, and you're not letting it stop you. So on your journey here in Toastmasters, yeah, those achievements are great, but those little stumbles, those are also a part of the path that are leading you to become better people. At least that's what my mentor used to say. What can I say about my mentor? My mentor is a woman that is just a ball of positive energy. Some of us here know her. Her name is Kathy. When Kathy was called up to do a role, she ran to the front of the room, literally ran to the front of the room. Not just ran to the front of the room going, woo! She could change the energy in a room just like that. You cannot help feel bad when Kathy was around. One time, I was coming into Toastmasters and I ran into Kathy on the street as we were entering. I had a chance to tell her, you know, I kind of got talked into doing general evaluator. I've never done it before and I'm scared. And she said something that really changed me. You're scared because you care, my friend. That just blew my mind. Like, all this time I was thinking that this anxiety was my broken brain and something that I had to like really work on. And she just reframed it in an instant. This anxiety that I was battling like it was a dragon. In that instant, it turned into a dragonfly. Yeah, it's still here. I still hear it buzzing around, but it's not threatening anymore. And if I step back and if I really look at it, wow, it's kind of a beautiful thing. I care. It's gonna be scary. You're not gonna feel like you can do it, but do it anyways. This is a wonderful place to fail. There have been so many people that have inspired me, and some of those people are still here. And I'm not worried about the future of this club because I look around and I see some of our newer members, and I see creative energy here, and I see our next leaders here, and I see people who come in and they do their best every time they come. And it gives me hope. It's a great club, and I would just like to finish off by referencing one more of the members who are no longer with us who's inspired me. Not everybody is going to understand this reference, but some of you will. And I'd just like my final message to be, it is up to you and you and you to create the club that you want to be in. And when you create the club that you want to be in, you will become the leaders that you are meant to be.